Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I It's alive!
Welcome to where the weird ones are.
Every time I speak, I want the truth to come out.
Powerful figures in Hollywood as well as powerful politicians who are in fact not human. They're reptiles or they're lizards or perhaps extraterrestrials.
I don't think it is a human. I think it's a Sasquatch.
Go ahead and run. Run home and cry to mama.
Let's get weird.
What's up, you fucking weirdos? Welcome to another episode of Where the Weird Ones Are. My name is Kevin, but you probably already knew that, and if you didn't, now you do. Today's episode is with Jen and Jonathan Noseworthy, straight out of Canada, um, Newfoundland and Labrador area. Um, so they are a part of the B.O.G team Paranormal, which it's the B.O.G is hyphenated. It stands for Boots on the Ground Investigation. Um, and they have quite a few members. They all investigate together and whatnot. And Jen has a podcast as well, called Paranormal NL Podcast. She's been doing it for a long time. She's been in radio for a long time, anyways. Um, but yeah, they have some super interesting encounters with their investigations. It seems like they didn't really have encounters until they started investing. I mean, Jen did or felt weird, got weird feelings because she works in hospitals and stuff like that. So, but I think what's fascinating to me is this cat entity that they there's a medium friend that they have, and she sees a cat, and oh, man, they don't see it, but they like get these interesting like EVPs and stuff on the Spirit Talker and stuff like that, talking about cats and stuff like that in their house. So, which Jonathan did have a cat and that had passed away, and the medium described it as being black and white, and that they don't have a black and white cat anymore, but the black and white one is the one that passed away and stuff. So it's really interesting. Um, but yeah, so I hope you guys really enjoy this episode. I hope you check out their podcast, Jen's podcast, and um, check out all of their links, which will be in the description below. But shout out to Flavors of the Forest. Man, you cannot see that on video at all. Flavors of the Forest. Bigfoot's breath. Raw garlic dust. Good shit. You should get yourself some. And where you can go get yourself some is flavorsforest.com. And they have other flavors like horseradish, cranberry, ginger. They have a spicy garlic. Everything they have is worth checking out. I promise you. They're amazing dudes. And I hope to get to see them soon. I hope to get to see them this year at some point. I don't know. Um, I met Nelson at Encounter Quest last April, in North Carolina, but Encounter Quest isn't. They're not running this year, so unfortunately, but or else I'd be planning a trip down there. But I am going to Tennessee in a couple weeks. Looking forward to doing that. So, but yeah, check out Flavors of the Forest at flavorsforest.com. You can also follow them on IG at Flavors Forest. So I promise you, you're missing out if you're not getting this shit, because it's amazing. It's the best garlic you're gonna get out there. Make sure you cook it up a little bit. Don't put the garlic in until it's been cooked for a little bit. I find that's the way that it tastes the best. You can get a really good flavorful of garlic. Um, but yeah, other than that, if you're experiencing any kind of mental distress here in the United States, please dial 988. It is the suicide prevention hotline, but they are equipped to assist with any mental distress that you may be experiencing. And I just want you to know that you deserve to be here. I'm happy you exist. You know, I've struggled with it too. I mean, there's nobody out there that is always okay. You know what I mean? Not every nobody. There's nobody. Nobody is always okay. We all experience this shit. So, um, if I can talk you off the ledge, I'm gonna do it every time. If you want to, you can message me as well. Um, but 988 is there for a reason, and it's a good reason. I think out of all the things that God put on this earth, he des- he decided that it needed one of you, and I'm glad you're here. So stay another day, because you're only going to be transferring trauma, and there's going to be people that miss you. I promise. Um, but if you guys like today's show, please like, follow, share, subscribe, leave a rating and a review. I would greatly appreciate it. You can, if your podcatcher doesn't allow you to leave a rating or leave a review, anyways, you can do so on the website, which is where the weird ones are podcast.com. That is also where you can get hot sauce. That's also where you can get coffee and supplements and merchandise, like the shirt that's in the background there, stuff like that. I have a whole bunch of designs for t-shirts. I have hats and mouse pads, and I have a whole bunch of stuff. And I do have a t-shirt design for my son's YouTube channel, which if you're interested in, if you have kids or whatever that are interested in um watching people play video games on YouTube, which is the wildest thing to me. My son does have a YouTube channel called Raptor Rex. It's Raptor Raptor Rex WRECKS. Just look for the logo of a little boy with a dinosaur hoodie on. So, yeah, and his t-shirts on the store. And whatever, whoever buys that, that whatever money that t-shirt makes goes to him, to help him create his dream. So, um, yeah, I think that's it. So why don't we do the damn thing with Jen and Jonathan, shall we?
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Let's get weird. Let's get weird. Let's get
Hello everyone, it's Connie over on the YouTube channel Talk Spooky to Me, and currently you are listening to Kevin from Where the Weird Ones Are. Enjoy!
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode. So happy to have you here tonight. I have the pleasure, nay, the privilege to introduce to you Jen and Jonathan from B.O.G Team Paranormal. And Jen actually has a podcast as well called the Paranormal NL podcast, if I said that correctly. I've been on there
Newfoundland and
twice.
Labrador.
Yeah. She
Yes,
does an amazing job with your intros. I love the way you do your intros. It's amazing.
thanks.
But
Yeah,
yeah, if you
Kevin was on my show. You were on season 2, episode 57, back when I was just doing radio, and then you came back on. I think it was season 2, episode 139, when I started doing the StreamYard.
Yep. It's how has the transition been from going from just audio to being able to see the people you're talking to now?
Oh, it's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really good. I must say, I did enjoy doing the radio. It was so much easier.
Uh-huh.
Less stuff to upload and whatnot, right? Because
Yeah.
there's less sites that you got to worry about. It would just do it automatically. But I mean, the fans, you got to give them what they want, right? So if they're asking for video, you got to do video.
Yeah,
How
I
about
hear you.
yourself? I know you're using Riverside, right?
Yep, Riverside. So far so good. Every once in a while, I don't know if it's my internet or what, it will give me a little bit of an issue, and I'll just switch over to Zoom or
Okay.
StreamYard. So,
Yeah.
but for not paying for it, it does pretty fantastic things for me, like the things that I care about. So,
Yeah. There's so many different platforms out there to choose from. But Paranormal NL podcast, yeah, you can find us all over the place. So on just about all podcast platforms and stuff like that. But I started out back in 2003 just doing the radio,
oh
first when I
wow.
started it. And actually, before I even started podcasting, all I had was doing was the group, Paranormal NL podcast group on Facebook. So if you notice, most of my stuff is with the group, not the page. The page is just
Mm-hmm.
Insta drops, and people get confused. They're like, "What is this?" So I just started doing that again for the fans, because you got fans on Instagram, you got fans on TikTok, so you got to be on all the platforms, right? So yeah, at first it was just a group, and then I said, you know what? I think I want to reach out to more people, because I started doing this. People who don't know me, I'm a registered nurse, and I have a lot of experience dealing with trauma and different types of patients in a lot of different realms. I worked in the United States for about, I'd say, 23, 25 years doing travel nursing all up and down the East Coast, and the operation room, and also in the recovery room, and emergency room back here in Newfoundland and Labrador. But I've seen a lot of different things, and I'm curious about it. And I just wanted to reach out and talk to more people around the world. So yeah, so we've gone international. And Kevin, I think you're part of the International Paranormal Alliance, right? The IPA.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
with
I
our
met a
Max
lot
and
of
Mike.
amazing people through you.
Thank you,
So,
and same with you. We
thank you.
we got to give a shout out to Charles Stevens, right?
Yes,
Over in British
yes,
Columbia, Canada.
yes. He's
Yeah.
amazing. I
Yep.
love him. Both
And
times I've had him on, he's been great.
and Jonathan, I think you know, or you've heard of or watched some of David Salinas. We got to give a shout out to you, DTRH down the rabbit hole over in San Antonio. Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
with you also, right? With the weird Java in the morning.
yeah. We do the Weird Java in the morning every Sunday morning. That's been pretty interesting. So I was gonna do. I was trying to get a couple of my childhood friends together to do what David and I are doing for Weird Java, but they would take like a week to answer me, and then it got to the point where I was just like, I'm not like, so that I asked them if they wanted to do it, and they're all like, yeah. And then one of my buddies was like, what's a podcast? And I was like, what? It's 2025. What are you talking about?
Roughly.
You know, I
So
noticed a lot of people actually listen to the podcast when they're going to work, they're at work, or they're at home and they're bored, or they're just like around the house doing stuff and they got the earbuds in. So
yeah,
even though there's a lot of video out there, most people just listen to the audio.
yeah. I get more listens than I do views, like because I do YouTube and
Right.
audio.
Yeah, me too.
So YouTube, I have a pretty good amount of subscribers, but the amount of my subscribers don't watch. Like I have over 400 subscribers, but I only get like 20 views an episode, and I'm like,
I find I get a lot
where's the rest of them?
more of the views with UPRN. I got to give a shout out to United Public Radio Network, 107.7 FM in New Orleans and 105.3 FM on that Gulf Coast. And yeah, I've been with them now. Gosh, how long has it been? I'm up to almost in the 20s episodes with them. They call them segments. So yeah, they're a great great platform for paranormal stuff, and get a lot of views from them on the YouTube lives with the go live chats with the paranormal what parties and stuff. They're fun.
Nice.
I should let
Nice.
Jonathan talk for a while.
Yeah. Well, I actually was gonna ask, when did you guys meet and where did you meet? Like, what's the love story?
Okay, I'll let you tangle that one, Jonathan.
So we met in a coffee shop in Mount Pearl, and it's a city in Newfoundland and Labrador.
Uh-huh.
And we were having a coffee, and we were chatting, and hit it off immediately, and then ended up getting married.
Who knew?
They're like, oh, this coffee and conversation is so good. We should just get married. And then you're like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. Married 5 years.
Weird Java in the morning. What's the name of the coffee shop, Johnny?
Yeah. Oh,
Coffee Matters was the place
Coffee
it was
Matters,
called.
yes, sorry.
Yeah, Coffee Matters. It actually had a bit of a fire there one year, but I think they've got it back up and running now. But yeah, so we actually met on the internet when I came home. When I say home, back to Newfoundland and Labrador from Texas back in 2017.
Yeah, that's right. 2017.
I used to like some posts that one of his family members put out, and he was like, "Oh, I think one of my family members." And I'm like, "No, man, I like some of the animal pictures or something that they posted, right?" So yeah,
that's funny.
Yeah,
but yeah, it worked out from there. Yep. Yeah.
How long has when did you guys start did you start the B.O.G team together, or did you
the B.O.G
already
team was kind of created a little bit later. So in 2023, when I was doing the radio podcast, I did a radio podcast with a person, and they said they were a TV personality. And I said, hey, man, if I put together a group, y'all want to go out and we'll go to this specific place? They said, yeah, sure, let's do that. So I ended up reaching out on my group and put together a group. And then we started going out doing some ghost hunts. And then it just evolved kind of naturally, holistically into this B.O.G team, boots on ground team. So they did their first investigation back in 2023. Downtown St. John's in Newfoundland and Labrador is very haunted. You can't take 2 steps without bumping into a ghost. Yeah, it's one of the oldest cities in Newfoundland, and actually it's the oldest city in North America. So
is it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, we have a lot of ghost activity here. So it just kind of evolved organically from there, and I got some other people or members to join. And John, do you want to talk about a little bit about some of the events that y'all have done with the B.O.G team? So I'm a founding member, but Jonathan can talk more about the team.
Yeah, we got a couple of psychic mediums, and we got a couple investigators, and my role is ghost bait on the team and team support. Yeah,
it's funny. We that started early on before we even started the B.O.G team. We went to Zach Baggins Haunted Museum, and we were in the Divot Box Room area. Yeah, we had some serious stuff happen there in the divot box room. It was
Oh
pretty
shit.
bad. Yeah, we couldn't stay in the room. It was bad. So he walked out. I didn't know he did. And so I didn't stay in the room either. I just I am kind of a sensitive, so I can sense really weird things. I was just getting something really bad off of that box, man. So I said, yeah, I'm gonna step out. So I stepped out, but I didn't know he had stepped out, and we couldn't find him. And then later, security found him down the hall somewhere. It was
Sat
so
down on the
weird.
floor. I didn't know
Yeah,
what was
he was
on the
on the
go.
floor, and of course the nurse and me jumped up and thought, oh, he's having a low sugar episode, right? But it wasn't. It was
Diabetic.
just some kind of weird attachment that he had, and he kept seeing shadows and stuff afterwards,
Oh
and it was
no.
really
Yeah,
bad. We had
it was
to
really
get some
bad.
help. When we came home, we had to, get some people to help us get rid of that bad
Yeah.
juju.
Oh yes.
So
Yeah.
he was
So,
the molder of the. Well, I'm the molder and the Scully, but Jonathan, you're more like the Scully, the
yeah,
naysayer.
I'm pretty well like a skeptic kind of thing.
So did you ever Jonathan, did you ever have any experiences growing up at all, or was it not until you started the investigating?
It's when I started investigating with the B.O.G team that I had a couple instances with I had a couple of pets that had passed away. So I was at the house and I seen the on the SLS camera on the app and seen some I had a cat that passed away and a dog that passed away, and they were running around out in the living room they wanted to play. So
Uh-huh.
But you had this other weird thing where I had a friend come over and she was looking downstairs and she's like, "Oh, should I let the black and white cat up?" I'm like, "Well, first of all, no cats are allowed downstairs, and we don't own a black and white cat." So then later, I want to say the next day or so or something, she was over again and Jonathan showed her a picture and she said, "That's the cat."
yeah, that was
And Jonathan
funny.
was like, tell Kevin what you told her."
Yeah, I said that I showed her the picture, and I said that was my cat Jenny that would live downstairs, and she said, "Yeah, that's the cat I seen when I showed her the picture." Very,
No, that cat I didn't meet. I didn't even know
Whoa.
Jonathan then. That cat had passed away years before I even met him. And I didn't even know that there was a pet that passed away downstairs. And I've had several psychic mediums tell me in the house, in that area, there's something there. And they keep saying it's not human. I said, "Well, is it scary?" They said, "No, it's small, but it's not human, but it's there." Which is
yeah,
interesting.
Which, yeah,
Yeah, because
sounds like
that
it would be
cat
the
is
cat. Yeah.
or
it's
dog, yeah,
actually buried in our backyard over by the tree there. But
Oh,
he's
she
had a
must
lot
have
of
loved
that's
you.
where
other.
she's buried.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And his dog Cosmo passed when I met him. And our pets do a lot of weird stuff under Cosmo's picture and stuff.
In the
And I've
hallway.
had some mediums tell me, that that they're sensing the. You don't know if you know Rob Guttrow or some other pet psychics and things like that. They say that yeah, that's what they're seeing. But well, we've used the dowsing rods and other things in our house and the spirit box and the SLS in our house, and we had a lot of activity in our house. So I don't know if we
Yeah,
got some hitchhikers that come along sometimes and come
Mm.
home from the investigations. I try to cleanse the house and all the areas and do prayers before and after and cleanse, but sometimes there are hitchhikers that you just can't get rid of. And we've
Yeah.
had some really weird happenings lately with machines turning on that are actually off. For example, um, I guess the ghosts like my podcast area because they come and they turn on my computer's closed, off, laptop shut, everything closed out, but my podcast will come on all of a sudden on blast, and we're not even in that part of the house, and we're like, it's doing it again. So this has
Oh
happened like 3
my.
or 4 times,
Yeah, that was
and it's
freaky.
kind of a running joke now. It happened one time when I was on with Tommy and Alienate UK and Nicole, and then I think it was like the next day or something, it started doing all kinds of weird stuff. But a lot of mediums say, that things can come through the mic and whatnot, and you do have to, protect yourself also when you're podcasting.
Oh yeah.
I know that's a
For
theory,
sure.
and even when we were doing it a live ghost hunt, I think we were doing that with Tommy, and that same night it said take a picture. So we took a picture, and in the logo behind me there was this like white thing that wasn't part of the logo that
Oh
you could see
shoot.
through. Like it was looked like smoke. I wasn't smoking. There was no sage or anything like that. It wasn't like a reflection or a bounce off of the poster or anything like that. It was just really weird things that we've had happen, stuff like that. But yeah, we've done a lot of different ghost adventures, and Jonathan, he always ends up, we call him Ghost Bait because
Yeah.
he likes, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I was at the one investigation and I got called a few names by some ghosts, like arsehole. I got called that. What's another? A wanker, the British term. They call
Yeah,
me annoying because I'm always like likes to tap where I used to play drums. So
yeah, the ghosts get pretty pissed off at Jonathan. I think they even said F off one time. They had an
yeah,
iron gate like shut in his face, and the dowsing rods kept pointing at him and telling him to stop tapping.
yeah, they didn't like me.
No, and he doesn't provoke that bad. I mean, sometimes he might say something or other, but I always say try to be respectful and everything to everybody when we go in the house, because
Right,
if you provoke too much, then you're gonna get a negative experience, right?
pretty
Yeah,
quick.
yeah, yeah. Have you ever spoke to Ron uh, Hakes, I think is his last name.
Where's he from?
He's
Oh,
he's Grave Evidence. He goes by Grave Evidence on all his socials.
no, I haven't spoke to him yet.
All right, so his daughter's house is super haunted, and they investigated a little bit, and he says the same thing, that the ghost there does not like him and calls him a whole bunch of names too.
Oh no.
So that's that's why I brought him up, because
Yeah,
what Jonathan is experiencing is similar to Ron's. But yeah, Ron has a lot of experiences. I think his first episode on my show was episode 11, almost 3 years ago. So
Wow. So he
he's
wow.
said that happened too.
yeah,
Yeah, we've
he's
done a lot of stuff here at our own house. I mean, usually we don't because we don't want to invite that kind of stuff in.
right.
But
Yeah,
as you continue to do, the investigations, you just get comfortable with it.
Mm-hmm.
But, the last few times we did it, we had some weird stuff happen, and we weren't comfortable because we caught some EVPs of somebody screaming, and
Oh no.
yeah, and there
oh,
was an
cat meowing and different stuff.
oh yeah, I forgot about that. We did catch a cat meow, didn't we? But there was an astronomical amount of orbs. Like I can't even begin to tell you how many we had. It was
Yeah,
just
they were all flying in
crazy
my
numbers.
back and into my
Yeah, like
head everywhere.
we set it
Damn.
up like overnight, a trail cam, a couple places in the house, and not even overnight, just during the day. Just said, hey, let's set it up and see what happens. Sure enough, it was pretty wicked. And it wasn't just a normal flying orb. It would like almost like you would think like a UFO would do. Stop,
Yeah,
hover in front of you, turn, follow you. Like really weird shit.
yeah,
Excuse the language, but yeah. So yeah, we've done a couple fun investigations. John, you want to talk about some of those?
yeah. Well, we did the Torbay History House and museum, and we did a public ghost hunt. It was open to the public. That was pretty cool one, and we did one
So
at the
mhm.
Duke of Duckworth. That was another good one.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we've been doing a lot like around town local stuff. There's another garden across from the Torbay History House and Museum that has a lot of history there, and we've been in contact with a lot of different spirits there. That used to be a convent by the Presentation Sisters,
Yeah,
and now
that's
it's
correct.
a prayer garden. So there's 5 graves there, 5 nuns. And I usually
shit.
wear my nursing ring when I go out.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I like to do dowsing rods. That's, everybody has their own little thing that they like to do, and I like to do the dowsing rods and also use other different, techniques and things like that. But yeah, I was using the spirit box and dowsing rods, and they were both, coming through. All 5 of them came through. And there was an interesting story with that. There's a fountain there and there's Michael is there, but he doesn't have a sword. So we were interested in, because these people we also got over in the History House and Museum. Their names came up over there too, because it's all interrelated. Because the Torbay History House and Museum used to be the rectory for where the priest used to live.
Okay.
So, yeah, so there's a lot of community activity that people have experienced there, and they wanted us to go in and see if the place was haunted. So first we just went in and did like a little prelim, and we got a lot of activity. But even during the 2 public ghost hunts that we did that were sold out, we did get activity during those 2 times. But we were back a couple times after that. We went back with CBC News, and they followed us in there, and we got some activity with them, and the reporter even had fun with some of the activity there. But we did get a lot of negative activity there in the basement. So we're just trying to put the pieces together to figure out who is there. But we've had I think we've had some attachments with that related to that. So they can be difficult and hard to get rid of. But we've done a lot of other ones, like up on Signal Hill. Do you want to talk about that one, Johnny?
Yeah, we were up on Signal Hill, and there's
You might want to explain where and what that is to the folks who are listening who don't know Newfoundland and Labrador.
yeah, that's it's the most easterly point in North America. It's like they got a castle up. It looks like a castle, but it's like Cabot Tower. That's what it's called. It's pretty
That's
cool.
where Marconi sent out his first signal.
Radio signal, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So we were up there, and we're just using the K2 meter and that, and we seen some children like running, and it came through on the Spirit Talker app. I think it was on Taylor's phone. Said, "Be careful, stop running."
And it was weird because I was in a separate location and I was like watching them in real time. And in real time, my dowsing rods and the spirit box were saying word for word what was happening. And it was so weird because it, it was like intelligent, extremely intelligent. You would ask it stuff and it would right away it would respond correctly.
Oh,
And
wow.
when I came back, I said, "What was going on up there on the hill?" And when he explained what was going on with the kids, I said, "Oh, that makes sense because that's my spirit box was saying the same thing too." So it correlated with what they were getting. So yeah, I love it when they're intelligent.
Yeah. The quick responses is always, I mean, it's nice and convenient, but it's easier to tell when it's like right off the bat and stuff. But I wanted to ask, with the cemetery or the graveyard where the nuns were or whatever.
Right?
Yep.
What was the activity? What were you getting exactly?
Ooh. We were getting good and bad. Well, I was off site, in other words, outside the perimeter of it while they were in it, because I kind of like to do that. I want to correlate to see if I get what they get, right?
Right.
So it was correlating. They was telling me it's not human. The 5 sisters, I said, "There's 5 of us. We're here. Tell them to get out. It's not human." And they were getting all this scary, what kind of stuff were you getting? Demon and
We're
evil
getting
and
like demonic, and there's a creature came up.
yeah,
And
and then you got EVP on the spirit box said, hi and in a really weird voice. It was
yeah,
creepy.
yeah, it was very bad, very creepy for sure.
It was, yeah. And that's when I was asking about the sword and asking like, where is it? Do you want me to return it? And they said yes. And I asked where is it? They said it was buried in there. And the dowsing rods kept pointing where it was buried, but then at the same time I kept getting all this demonic stuff coming through. So it was like I shouted out to the guys, "Come on, you gotta get out of there. It's not
On the
human."
go.
Because you get mimickers too, right? They want to screw with you and want to mess with you, right? Because
Yeah.
For sure.
when we were down there in the Torby History Housing Museum basement, there was some really bad stuff down there. There was good and bad, right? So we were trying to get behind to like what had happened there in the past, but we did get somebody say that they were shot there. There was some growling coming through on the EVP. And then
was
when we
horned.
tried to do some prayers and stuff like that, like the tip of something that we had there had a dragon on it and that cracked off. And then we got the growling when we were trying to do prayer. So, but it was weird because that place is supposed to be holy, right?
Mhm.
So, but it seems like there's something weird downstairs. But there's been some other places that we went to also that we thought, okay, this is like a holy place. We went to the grotto. And the grottos were Pope John Paul, I forget which number, but one of them, they were here.
The
And they did the
second, I
blessing of,
think, I believe it was.
yeah, and they did the blessing of the fleets. And at one place, we had a lot of activity there, but we also went to another place called the Grotto. And there was a lot of SLS activity of really tall, huge. I've never had SLS that tall and big before. It was insane. And that's the place where the iron gates like slammed.
Slammed
And
right shut.
yeah, they told us to go away. As soon as we got there, I said, the gates are open. I said, the gates to what? But I noticed that the gates were open because they had done some kind of activity there, the whole community. And they had candles and all this stuff lit up, but they had left it all lit and left the paper candles there. And I thought, well, maybe they don't want us in there and they want us to turn off all the candles and close the gate. That's what I was feeling, right? But then we got some really our medium was there with us and he was absolutely freaked out. He was like, we need to get the F out of here. And then the gate like slammed, but it wasn't windy, nothing. And this gate is heavy iron metal. You know, we've had some other weird things happen too.
In the
Jonathan's
same
right quiet.
in the same spot, or
yeah, actually every time we go back something is weird. Yeah, we've had some like child attachments come back with us and stuff.
come back to your house from there?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
The children, they like to play little tricks and it
They
creeps me out.
They do. We've caught them on SLS running around playing with our cats. And messing. We think that's what was messing with my computer because we've caught them on SLS, like sitting on the counter or like just weird things. And Jonathan caught one day sitting on my hip because I felt something run under my chair. Like I felt something smacked me in the ass and ran under the chair, and I felt it running between my legs. I said, "Is that the orange cat?" No, he was over in the window. Is that the gray cat? No, he's right there. I said, well, what the F just hit my ass and ran between my legs? I said, get the SLS, go behind me. He got the SLS. That mapped me out, but it also mapped out a little figure sitting on my hip.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I know, right?
Holy cow, that's crazy. Oh man.
But then we also got some other weird stuff that said like, oh, I've been here 1,000 years and I'm a shapeshifter. And then that's just like, yeah, goodbye. We don't want to talk to you.
Yeah, we don't want no shapeshifters up in here.
No, that was over near the grotto.
The printer, don't forget about that. Went off on its own. Started printing.
Yeah, that was weird. That's another story that we can tell another time. But yeah, we get some weird stuff sometimes, like find my body. Oh, I'm here. I'm touching your hair. And then sometimes they'll say, take a picture. And we like to use like if we don't have like a smoke or something like a smoke fog machine, we'll use other stuff like if somebody's smoking a cigarette, they'll blow smoke and then try to take a picture. And we took one time, and it kept telling. Well, we were asking it, where are you coming out of? The mirrors? And that's what it said, the mirrors. But then it said, I said, which mirror? And it said exactly what was on the mirror. It said cat mirror. And there was a little sticker of a cat on the mirror. I was like, oh my God, that's the mirror right next to us. Then it said, take picture. We were like, okay, let's blow some smoke, take a picture.
Yeah,
What did we
freak
get,
us out.
Johnny?
What?
Tell them what we got.
What? Oh, behind me. Is that
No,
where?
over by, we were at, of all places now, Kevin, this was in a Dairy Queen parking lot next to the
Oh,
woods.
yeah. I took a picture, and there's like a couple of a couple pictures of a cat and a dog, or a shadow figure of a cat and
There was
dog.
a bobcat. We looked at it. We're like, what kind of dog is this? Because Jonathan, you're the dog expert, right?
Yeah, I own the dog daycare. That's what I does for work.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I know all
And
the different types of breeds of dogs and all that.
so I thought it was interesting because we were in his car, which says canine dog daycare on the car. So were we attracting animals because it said that on the car? Because we were screwing around saying, okay, come on, all you animals and all the kids and this and that, we're going to go get ice cream. This was the day we were with another BOG team member. And we were telling the ghosts, yeah, we're going to go get ice cream. So we were like, okay, remember the Crocodile Rock, John? You want to talk about that?
Yeah, we're getting ice. We're over in Petty Harbor, just driving around looking at the sights, and then the Crocodile Rock was, well, we went into the store to get a couple of drinks, and on the uh, speakers outside, the Crocodile Rock was playing by Elton John, and we got back in the car, and I turned on the car, put on the radio, and then it was playing on the radio too.
Yeah,
Must
but
have been the
before
spirit.
that all happened, we were sitting down, just looking. We're going to see, maybe we could see some whales right over there. So we turned on all of our gear and stuff, but we got a really intelligent ghost just talking to us. It was totally intelligent, asking us like real time questions and saying stuff in real time. But then it said Crocodile Rock, and we were like, "What the fuck?" So Jonathan played it on. He looked it up and played it on his phone. And we all started singing it just for a laugh.
Yeah.
Then when we went to go get ice cream, there was no ice cream, but that was playing at the store where we went to go get ice cream. I was
That's
like,
amazing.
that is so weird. I was like, seriously? And then it was
Very
making
weird.
fun, and then it was saying that it was disappointed because there was no ice cream. So then we're like, oh, we got to get the ghost ice cream. So that's why we drove Dairy Oh my gosh, yeah. So we like to
That's
do like
awesome.
just fun impromptu stuff driving around, we'll go to different sites. Like we went to there was another place called the Three Sisters. I don't know if you want to explain what that is, Jonathan.
Oh, it's Four Sisters actually.
Four, sorry.
It's a bunch of like brick houses in a row, and they're supposed. Actually, the houses are made from the bricks from Cabot Tower up on Signal Hill. And
during the Great Fire, the only houses that withstood that back in, I don't know, the 1800s were those houses. Like everything else burnt to the ground.
yeah, and they're haunted. With Four Sisters owned them. Their father built them for, I think it was a wedding present for each one of them. And they're like they lived there like in the ghostly world.
Well, there's tunnels connecting the four houses underneath.
Oh,
but
that's
we stopped
interesting.
there and just did like an impromptu. We like to do little impromptus, just drive around and stop and just say, okay, is there anybody here, kind of thing. And we were getting some really intelligent hits from that. But it kept saying to us like, oh, she loved the butterflies. And, oh, I'm here. I'm up in the window. And our medium was saying, oh, it's grotesque. And she said,
Oh, shit.
yes, she said, I lost my hair. And I was like, And then our medium was like, we need to leave. This is not safe here.
Not good.
Oh
Yeah,
shit!
so we
Yeah.
started driving, and then when we got to this other place, which was near the harbor where all the boats are, there's this huge area where they store all the salt.
Yeah.
And of course, salt is supposed to keep the ghosts away. So then there was, I guess, a friendly ghost that said, "You're safe here now." Right? So I was like, oh my God, maybe
That's
that place really
super
was scary.
interesting.
But later on that week, he had somebody pass in his family. And when we went to the wake, we didn't know, but the whole theme of the wake was all butterflies, butterflies, butterflies everywhere. And we were like, that's what they meant by the butterflies.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Mm.
That's super interesting. That's cool though. I want to do investigations. I've done like 3 so far in since that it came out of doing the podcast because I've had all my experiences and stuff. I mean, I've told you some of them being on your show. And that's what inspired the podcast, and then the podcast inspired me to do investigations, which I was going to do investigations with my cousin, but he's going to be working in San Diego for like 10 months.
Oh, okay.
And he's leaving I'm pretty sure he's leaving soon, so he's going to be not even around for 10 months, and I'm like, I'm gonna have to get somebody else to do investigations with. And so my son and I might go do an investigation either tonight or tomorrow night in the cemetery across the street here.
Oh, fun.
Okay,
Okay, yeah.
sounds like fun.
I had an experience in that cemetery when I was a kid. So me and my high school girlfriend and one of my buddies, my childhood friends, went walking out there, and we heard some stuff and saw some stuff, and then actual people were out there trying to scare us too at the same time.
Oh.
So it was pretty interesting.
We'll bring
So we'll
some
see
protection stuff
what
before
happens.
and after, because we had some weird stuff follow us home from the cemetery.
Absolutely.
I know we've
Yeah.
been to a couple, and we went to one, and they're like, "Oh, I remember you," and I'm like, "Oh, that's interesting,"
Yeah, I talked to Dale and Jeannie, that I'm pretty sure you put me
Yes.
in touch with them.
Yep. Van Hoos. Yep.
Yeah, and where they investigate, it's a entity named Nick, and
Yes.
he's always talking. He's like, "Well, welcome back," or "Hi
Yep.
there again," and stuff
Yep.
like that to me solidifies a lot of things for me. Like, just when if I go to somewhere and then I return and something is saying welcome back and stuff, like, I know our phones are just like GPS tracking devices at this point and stuff like that, and possibly maybe these apps are like triggering that, like the Spirit Talker or the Ghost Tube and stuff like that, like maybe, but I don't know. At the same time, and especially if you get it on
A spirit box.
the Spirit Box, there we go. Yep.
Yeah,
Especially if you're getting it on Spirit
Yeah,
Box.
we get a lot like that too. Like we'll go
Yeah,
back
we
to
do.
especially Signal Hill.
Mhm.
Hi, we remember you, and things like that on the Spirit box. So that's a little bit different than actually on the Spirit Talker app, because the box
Right.
is the EVP, right? So we've
Right.
got a lot of Class A EVP, some interesting ones.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, it's just fun doing it,
It is
so many
fun.
different things. But
It is
I
fun.
know as a nurse, I was always the skeptic. Like, I didn't believe in that until I've started having some like really odd experiences that you can't explain. Until that happens, then you believe.
Yeah.
Like, like something touching you, or feeling something sit on the bed when there's nothing on the bed, and you can see the bed move and feel it and hear it.
Mhm.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Like stuff like that, or even patients saying different things, and then of course you're the nurse thinking, okay, it's this or that, but then you investigate and it's not this or that, then it's unexplainable.
Right.
Or even, when you ask it to do stuff and it does it, like, can you turn the light off, please? Bing. Can you turn the TV off, please? Bing. Then it starts to get a bit odd, right?
Right.
Especially if that room was a palliative care room where somebody just passed a few hours ago. And you can
Yep.
still sense their spirit being there, and you were the one who did their post-mortem care and took them to the morgue yourself.
Wow.
So,
Yes.
because I've done a lot of
Yes.
that too.
That's crazy.
And you can feel them. You can feel when they're around. You can sense them,
Yeah.
whether it be
Yeah.
good or bad energy. But
Right.
everybody always says to open a window, but a lot of places don't do that anymore. And a lot of people say, oh, put stuff over the mirror so they don't get stuck in the mirror. But you never know. Maybe there is some truth to that, because a lot of that stuff isn't done nowadays.
Right. Right. You're right.
And they keep telling us that they're coming out of the mirror. So it makes me wonder, like, maybe there is some truth to this.
Yeah.
Because we've even seen them come out of the mirrors with setting up trail cams.
Yeah. Yeah. And so you never experienced anything until you were a nurse?
Yeah, no, not until I was nursing. Then
Oh, wow.
totally ramped up. And a lot when you're alone,
Yeah. I could
especially
see
on
that.
the night shift.
Mhm.
But I've had it happen in broad daylight at certain facilities where I've interviewed people. Actually, one person on the B.O.G team, Dan, he had something happen at the same hospital that I did where I worked. And numerous other people came on and said they've experienced different things at that same hospital. And we're convinced that that hospital is thoroughly haunted, and we can't wait for it to close soon so we can go in and investigate, because it's closing in April.
Oh, is it?
So
What's the purpose of it closing? Not enough
they're going to
funding or?
move. No, they're going to. Well, they built a new one, because that
The
one
Oh.
more
is very
modern
old.
one.
Yeah, that one's very, very old.
It's 150 years old.
Yes. And there's a lot of
Wow.
history there. It's a mental institution. So, there's a lot of history there, like an asylum type of facility. So it's next level when it comes to that. Even
Yeah.
during the day, but this is before I started the B.O.G team. I was a podcaster, but I didn't have the B.O.G team. But I had some like really unexplained activity happen there. Even the security were like, "Did you open that door?" I'm like, "No." He said, "There's no way you could have opened that door." He said, "It takes like 3 men to open it." And it just slammed open. All the alarms went off and the lights went out. And it was
Oh.
bad, because they said to me, "You should never whistle here." And I wasn't whistling. I was just on a break by myself. And I opened an app where a parrot was whistling. And I had this horrible feeling that someone was staring at me. But the day before, they had changed out the lights because the lights weren't working over by the printer. So when I came in, I turned all the lights on, but then the lights went out and the door flew open when the whistling started. And I was like, oh, that was next level.
Oh,
And
yeah.
security came up, like, what is going on up here? I'm like, I don't know if I could. And the door, when it opens, it goes to nowhere. It's just a straight drop to the ground, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like anybody would open it to go out there. Yeah, it was a lot of weird stuff at that place.
That's super interesting. So what was the door, like this big metal door?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And it was locked.
And
Yeah.
it was locked. Holy
Mm-hmm.
crap.
Yeah.
And it still flew open. I would have ran, honestly. I would have cried, and I probably would have burnt the place to the ground.
Well, I was at another cottage hospital one time working, and there was no security there. Like if you were the nurse and you were working night shift, you were basically security. And it was during a big storm, like a rainstorm with lightning and all that good stuff. And you know what they say about that? It always ramps up activity. But that same thing happened, similar to a door flew open over there, and I couldn't get it closed, so I had to get one of the guys to wake him up and close it. Like I didn't open it. There was no like other windows open or any breeze or anything like that in the facility. It was just really weird. And then all the residents started seeing that they were seeing shadows. And it was just a really weird night. And that was the night where another nurse got poked in the face by something because she didn't want to watch what some girls were watching, this thing called Dr. Pimple Popper. And she got grossed out. So she was like, I'm not watching that. So she went in on her break and something poked her in the face. And when she woke up, she had this big spot on her face, almost like a pimple, right?
Almost like a pimple. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
But she kept running
interesting.
out. Yeah, something poked me in the face, and that's that same room where the lights went on and off when you asked to turn it
Oh
off
man.
in the palliative care room or something. Oh my! But yeah, it's got a lot of other stories too from different people who are paramedics and doctors with their own stories. So there's
Yeah.
it makes you
I can
wonder.
imagine. I can imagine. I had a gentleman on too that was an EMT, and he was in the ambulance, and he would roll people into the mortuary
Yep.
or the morgue or whatever you
Mhm.
call it. And he's like,
I used to have to do that too.
when there's nobody, he's like, it's in usually the basement when nobody's
Right.
around.
Yep.
There's no windows or anything, and all of a sudden my hair's getting like played with almost. That he
Mhm.
goes, there's something going on there, and I go, yeah, I would say that. So
That's
he's
what
like, there can't, especially if there's wind. He's like, even if there was wind, it would like I would be able to feel it. It wouldn't just be my hair moving. So,
But it's even more interesting when somebody else is there to witness it also. So you're not
exactly,
crazy. Like
exactly,
somebody else was
absolutely.
there,
Yeah,
right?
I always wanted to catch a door opening or closing on its own on video. I know people can fake that on video and stuff like that, but I've always wanted to. Number one, I've always wanted to see it happen when I'm like asking questions to a ghost or something like that. Like I've seen like actual I've seen shadow figures, I've seen
Do you want to
apparitions.
see some kinetic activity? You want to see some movement or
Yeah,
something? Okay, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I find that usually when there's water around, that kind of helps them with energy. And I tell them, don't use my energy, use the crystal or the water or something else, and they can gain energy like that through your battery
yeah.
or something.
You want to know what's interesting about the cemetery that we're gonna investigate? There's a little river going through the center of it.
Oh, okay. So
Wow.
that should
A
help.
lot of energy.
100%.
Yeah, yeah.
You should go over by
So
the river and check it out.
yeah, because what I mean when I went out there with my high school girlfriend when we were in high school, um, right there's like this hill right near the water, and we're walking down the path towards the water, and we just hear like a boom 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 boom, like something is like a rock rolling down the hill towards us, and we shine our lights and stuff, and there's nothing there. But then so we thought it, it was either a rock rolling or somebody running at us or somebody just banging on the ground, but nobody's there, and we're like, oh my god. So that got creepy. But then we started seeing like there's some weird people in this town, and they like to hang out in the cemetery. They'll hang out in the woods and have bonfires and stuff like that. They call it
Okay.
the cult.
Okay.
Okay.
But
I got you.
Our spirit box keeps telling us don't go in the woods. Like
yeah.
every time we go out and we're near the woods, it says
Don't go in
don't
there.
go in the woods. We're yet to figure out why it keeps saying that.
That's what the spirits say at the Conjuring House is don't go in the woods.
Hmm.
I went on an investigation at the Conjuring House, and it didn't say it to us, but we've like watching videos of other paranormal investigators and stuff. They say that there's a monster in the woods, there's a creature in the woods, stay out of the woods, don't go in the woods, and stuff like that.
I
So
wonder why they keep telling us that, right?
yeah,
Makes you wonder.
there must be something out there. I don't know. Maybe
Woo!
Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever had like any kind of encounter that you could like not necessarily for sure, but you could attribute to like a cryptid of some kind?
The only thing I would say when you talk about cryptids or creatures is like crawlers, like different things that are crawling and like either on the wall or somewhere
Oh,
weird like
okay.
that.
Yeah.
Jonathan, have you ever seen any or experienced any weird stuff like that?
No, I haven't. Not yet.
Knock on wood, right? No, but there are said to have been Bigfoots here in the region because we are
Yeah.
close to the Appalachian Mountains and we were part of it at one
Mhm.
point, even though we're separated now. But and a lot of people talk about other things like big cat sightings here. Of course, we have the Fae, the fairies, and a lot of people talk about that. And over in Bell Island, they say that there's a queen of the fairies who lives there. And Zach
Really?
Baggins was here with his, well, he wasn't here. He sent his team here with that new show he has to Bell Island. And yeah, that place is haunted AF. It's next level.
Oh, for
You
sure.
have to go there. If you haven't been down in the mines there,
Especially the
go. If you're
mines.
looking for an investigation, go. We've got Vikings here. Come and check out our Viking historical site. I'm sure you'll get hits there too. There's places all over Newfoundland and Labrador when
Yeah,
it comes to ghost hunting. That's why we love it so much.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
There's
I
so many
could say,
different places to go, and we can't wait for coming up soon now in the summer. Now, I was
what
trying to
is
share
this?
something. Is it working? Oh, there we go.
I can
Yeah,
see
I
it.
can see
Yeah.
it.
Okay, so this is our link tree, Paranormal and Ill podcast and the B.O.G team. And again, like I said earlier, we're on UPRN, the Public Radio Network, and you can also find us on TeePublic for our merch if you're looking for any stuff. And we also have the B.O.G team music that Robert Dumond created for us. We got 3 new releases on all streaming platforms right now. And yeah, so and of course our group, the Facebook group, Paranormal and Ill Podcast and B.O.G team group, not the page. So yeah, there's and of course the YouTube where you can also find us or the podcast besides the normal radio places.
Nice.
So I'm gonna stop
Nice.
sharing that.
Well, so the closing question that I love asking everybody: are you guys finding fulfillment in what you're doing, like your podcast and your investigations and all that?
We're having a lot of fun with the I would call it impromptu B.O.G team investigations because it's been a lot of snow. We haven't been able to get out and do a
Mhm.
lot of outdoor stuff. But now coming up in the summer, I'm sure
Yeah.
Maine, you get a lot of snow there too. You can attest
Oh
to
yeah.
that.
Mhm.
So we're excited to do a lot more in the summer and branch further out to different places.
Yeah,
But yeah,
Nice.
I
it'll be
really
fun.
enjoy doing it.
Nice.
How about you,
We're actually
Jonathan?
supposed to get snow tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I'm like, what the heck? Come on now. I want to see the flowers now.
well, we had all
Yeah.
5 seasons today, Kevin. We had snow, we had
Yeah,
sun, we
right.
had
Like,
Yeah,
rain. It was great.
rain. Oh,
All the birds are totally confused.
I bet. I
Yeah,
can imagine.
yeah. And I love
Um,
your weird sauce. You got to keep it weird, man.
yes.
oh, there's
I'm
some merch. I'm just trying to
Oh,
get
there's some
picture.
merch that Jonathan got on. Yeah.
nice. I like it.
And
I
the
like
hat.
the.
Oh yeah, the hats. And I like your
Nice. I
merch
got.
that's hanging there too. You got your
Yeah.
hat on, and you got your T-shirt up there.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And I got 305 paranormal T-shirt on.
Is that your area
Um,
code 305?
no, it's Miami.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Jen and Mondo. That's who I got it from.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's my
because I was
first
gonna say,
investigation I ever went on was down there in Miami.
yeah, because Mr. Pitbull is 305, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I'm actually revamping my labels for my hot sauce. So,
Oh, nice.
Oh,
Show
nice.
yeah,
us.
Cool.
You got anything there?
what's that?
You got any there?
I have, well, not new labels, but I have a hot sauce sitting right here. This is
Yeah, hold
this
some
is
up.
my original sauce,
Oh, I love
Cool.
that.
and it's
Jonathan
supposed
makes
to
fun
be
of me
Bigfoot.
because I
I
love the
know.
hot sauce
Yeah.
because I lived in Texas, right? So I put hot sauce on a lot of different stuff. And when he eats, like, we had tacos the other night, and I make fun of him. I'm making you some gringo tacos tonight
That's where, gringo.
because he can't
Yeah,
I
have the
love
hot
that.
sauce,
and
right?
gringo.
I love that. Oh man. Well, this was a lot of fun, you guys. I appreciate you taking the time to do this. It means a lot to me. The fact that you guys chose to take an hour out of your day to spend it chatting with me. So thank you for
Yeah, we love
coming
you,
on.
Kevin.
Yeah, we
You're not
really
weird.
enjoyed it.
You're weird for thinking it's weird.
Yeah.
How is it? What you say on yours again?
Oh,
Hello, all you weirdos out
Oh,
there.
yes. In my intros, yeah. It's what's up, you fucking weirdos?
That's catchy.
Love it.
Oh man.
Everybody
All right.
follow Kevin. Follow Where the Weird Ones Are. You're gonna love him, and you're gonna love his podcast. So, and his hot sauce, and his weird
Thank you.
java in the morning.
Thank you.
It's all right.
I actually got to send Cat Ward some hot sauce and coffee still. I was on her show not too long ago, but
Big shout out to Cat Ward, or my fellow
Paranormal Heart.
Para sister from Paranormal Heart podcast.
Yeah, she's an amazing person. I like her a lot.
Yeah, and I'm gonna give a shout out to JJ Rose 777 because I think she was the one. Did I want to say that she recommended you? She was on season 2, episode 48, and season 2, episode 140.
Oh, really?
And Deborah Roku, season 2, episode 54. I think they both recommended you.
Both amazing ladies. I love them.
Yeah. So everybody
I love
follow
them so much.
Kevin. He's not weird. Yep. You're weird. Where the weird ones are. Follow.
We're all weird.
All right.
But for the listeners, that is the show. Please like, follow, share, subscribe. Definitely go check out B.O.G Team Paranormal. All the links that
Paranormal NL podcast and the B.O.G Team. Yep. And you can find us in our link tree at Linktree and / Paranormal NL podcast. That's where you can find us and all of our stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you don't mind leaving a rating and review, if you can't leave a review on your podcatcher, please consider doing so on the website, where the weird ones are podcast.com. That is also where you can get the hot sauce, the merch, the coffee, and the supplements. And you could also read some of my blog. But other than that, I hope you guys have a phenomenal day. And remember, question everything and stay weird.
Make sure you subscribe to Kevin.
This concludes our broadcast day. Click.
Because in the end, none of us have very long on this earth. Life is fleeting. And if you're ever distressed, cast your eyes to the summer sky, when the stars are strung across the velvety night, and when a shooting star streaks through the blackness, turning night into day. Make a wish.